Welcome to another fun episode of Dude, I Love or Hate My New Ride. Except today, it's not a new ride, it's an old truck, but it's very cool. This is a 1990 GMC 1-ton big truck, but it's hiding a secret under the hood. You may have guessed it, but it's a Cummins. And it has a couple of other tricks up its sleeve, especially in the tailgate. Let me show you, but for that, I need David. So tell me from the top,
Okay.
the year, how did this truck start out?
So square bodies were made from 73 till 87, but they kept making the 1-tons and the Suburbans until 91. So that's where this fit in.
Okay.
And they called them RVs. R for the two-wheel drive, V for the four-wheel drive.
Okay.
So this is a V 3500.
Single rear wheel.
Single rear wheel.
Well, let's walk around it because this truck, I think it's pretty special because back then, I mean, right now, crew cabs are everywhere, right? Everybody has a crew cab. But back then, crew cabs were not very popular.
They weren't, no. In the square bodies, it is pretty rare truck to be single rear wheel, non-dually. And it had a 454 that had a 4-speed manual transmission.
Yes, but you said had.
Had.
Can we pop the hood
We can pop
and
the hood.
see? Because it's a special, because it's a transplant, right?
So this is a swap.
Okay.
Call it swap. And it's not a Chevy motor.
It needs a little,
Yeah, old truck. It is a 5.9 Cummins out of a 94 Dodge pickup truck.
Why did you make the swap?
Well, fuel mileage for one, but power for other, because I wanted to pull some things. The 454 did fine, but the fuel mileage was very low. And it was just a fun project. Found an old farm truck with 300,000 miles that was all, beat to crap.
So pulled out the engine?
Pulled out the motor.
And the transmission?
And the transmission.
Okay.
It's got the Dodge 5-speed NV 4500.
Okay.
And then I mated that to the GMC NP 205 transfer case, which it had before.
Okay.
And then
did you have to modify like some of the drive shafts?
Drive lines, yeah. I had to shorten the rear and lengthen the front. As far as the drivetrain, that's pretty much the only modification.
Such a Cummins sound now.
I know. I mean, it's a stiff, rough riding.
Well, it's a working truck, right?
But it's a working truck, and that's what I like about it. It's not refined.
Yeah.
But it runs. It starts all the time. It does what I want. It pulls a lot. I pulled my Bobcat with it.
Yeah.
I pulled loads of hay with it. I mean, it loves to pull.
Well, I can kind of tell already.
Yeah, it's got real good.
Is it
low
410s still?
Yeah, 410s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can kind of tell. I'm just in fourth gear, just tootling around, and it's about 1,000, RPM, and it just wants to go forever.
It does. It likes to just grunt.
How many miles?
It has 180,000. Oh, the motor?
Yeah.
Had 300,000.
Okay.
But I rebuilt it with head studs.
Okay.
Has new rings, head studs, a lot of new parts, new alternator, new air conditioner, new water pump. So it should go for 500,000. So everybody asks, does it fit? Can you put a 5.9 in this truck easily?
Well, it fits.
It does fit. It's not easy.
Okay. What were some of the challenges?
So, the firewall is the biggest challenge. And the way I dealt with it is I had a cherry picker, and I'd bring the motor in, figure out where it needed to be massaged, and I'd take a ball peen hammer.
Okay.
And I spent about half a day with my ball peen hammer because I didn't want to cut my firewall.
Yes.
I wanted to leave it strong as it was. For the bell housing for the NV 4500, I had to beat the bell housing up, basically. I didn't have to beat the firewall back right here, per se, but I had to beat for the bell housing up.
Just kind of stretching the metal.
Just stretching the metal.
Stretching.
And just a little bit at a time, put a little heat, take your ball peen hammer, and just beat on it. That's the main modification.
Okay.
Other ones is like the big block radiator. It has a smaller outlet for running your coolant. So I had it's a 4-vein radiator, but I had it rotted out, but then I put a bigger outlet so that you can flow, and it runs really cool even on hot days like this.
What about like the mounts? You're telling me like you're using special mounts as well?
Right. I bought from a company called Screamin' Seaman. They sold me their manufactured mounts that fit a 3rd gen motor mount.
Okay.
So third gen would be a 2003
Oh, I see.
Cummins.
I see.
Okay. So they had the 5.9 for what until 2007. So you take the motor mounts off of that one, and it mates up to what part that they sell, and then you can slide it forward where you want it with their part, and then you weld it in place once you get it exactly what you want.
Okay.
And what's important for me is I wanted to run the Dodge fan, clutch fan,
Okay.
without having to modify anything. So I was able to put the motor just as close as I could to the firewall and still remove the clutch fan if I want to, if it needs to be replaced. The only thing I would do different though, Andre, I think, is I would dynamat the firewall for a little more sound control.
Okay.
I dynamatted the whole inside for sound control, but I think I would do the whole firewall if I had it to do over again. And I may take it all out and do that at some point.
Is it just a little loud in
It's a little,
the
it's a
cab?
little loud, yeah.
But it's a good loud.
It's a good loud.
You know, it's a proper diesel truck, right?
It's 5.9 loud. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, there's nothing, better than the sound of a 5.9.
Yeah, you could hear it coming from down the block.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know what it is.
You know what it is just from the sound.
Yeah.
I use the Chevy big block radiator,
Okay.
and then I put an intercooler up in front. I fit it right behind the grill. There's enough space for a small intercooler, which not really big enough, but it does the trick.
So is this kind of a stock turbo setup, or?
So this turbo is
let's
new.
look.
This is a Borg Warner S300, so it's bigger than what was on before. The truck has no electronics and the motor has no electronics. It's all mechanically driven diesel fuel pump, and that's what makes it easy to work on, easy to fix, easy to find parts. The GM, they made them for so long you can find any part you want, and then with the 5.9, there's so many upgrades on the 12 valve that makes it an easy engine to work on.
And what kind of power, if you had to guess?
I haven't put it on a dyno, so I don't know. My guess is I'm probably close to 300 horsepower, but a lot of torque. I mean, that's where you
could
really
feel it.
It's not real quick off the line, which I don't want it to be. I didn't build it for that.
It's not a race car, right?
It's not a race car, but when you want to pass somebody, it'll pass somebody in a flash.
What kind of work do you do? I mean, what do you use this truck for?
Julie and I, my wife, we have a herd of Himalayan bovines.
Okay.
Yaks.
Okay.
Okay.
Long hair?
Long hair, a
Okay.
long hair cow.
Long
and horns.
Long horns,
Yeah.
okay.
We pull a horse trailer and hay, And then I do construction work.
So
as
what
well.
about the axles? Kind of stock one-ton
Yeah, so
axles?
that's the nice thing about this truck is the Dana 60, which is a very desirable axle, and a 14 bolt for the rear.
Okay.
So those were stock on the truck to begin with. They were great. The one big upgrade I did in the suspension, Andre, is I went to Off-Road Design and they built me a complete new pack of springs for all four corners.
Okay.
And that was big because the Cummins motor is about 500-600 pounds more weight
than that V8.
than the V8.
Okay.
So it was the 3-spring set that it had on the front, it was straining it. So see, this is what, a 7-spring set on the front now, and it really made a huge difference, not only in the way that it handles the weight, but also in ride. The 1-ton was very, unless you put weight in it, it was very harsh before, and now it's much nicer.
Can we see kind of the dash and the interior?
Yeah, sure.
That's pretty cool.
It's got its imperfections, but I put a dash pad on it and a seat cover, but for the most part, it's stock.
So the dash here reminds me we had an 85
Right.
K10.
Yeah,
I
big
mean,
green.
Big green.
Yeah.
And which Steven has in Canada now.
Uh-huh.
But the dash is almost one for one, just very
They
similar.
kept them real similar for a long time. The only thing I've added is I put a tachometer, and then I have an EGT gauge and a boost gauge
On the top.
on the dash there. Yeah.
We did the same tack on the big green.
Right, you just
Because-
take a strap and put it on.
Yeah. It works, right?
Yeah, it works.
So tell me about fuel economy. What type of fuel economy are you getting now?
If I'm going below 65,
On the
and I
highway?
keep my R's about 2,000, 1,900,
Okay.
it'll get 21.
Okay.
If I get up to 75 range, 75, 80, then I'm pulling 24, 2,500 RPMs. It goes down to 17 and a half to 18, somewhere in there. Get good fuel mileage.
Yeah.
It's a heavy truck.
No matter how heavy you are, right?
Yeah,
How much
with all
does this weigh?
It weighs 8,000 pounds right now.
Okay.
With all the steel parts I've made for it, I made, the rack and the
And the bed. This
and
is
the
an
bed
8-foot
pieces,
bed,
yeah.
obviously.
Oh, you got to see this.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of my creations.
I see the bumper.
Yeah, I made the bumper. It's just all 1/4-inch wall, 2-inch square tubing. But you know, getting older, it's hard to get in the bed, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Ford has their step.
Okay.
And Chevy has their new tailgate.
Yeah.
And so I had to come up with one that, you know, I could get into the bed and, you know, carry things and then come out and then walk back down carrying something. So
that is really cool.
Low tech, but on the other hand, does the job.
Did you patent this yet?
No.
You should sell this.
I think there's a lot of other designs out there better than this one, but it works. Here you need to show this. I put all my tools in the back. So
it's secure?
Yeah. I can keep them out of the rain.
Well, that's a lot of just storage in
There's
general.
a lot of room right there, with all my toolboxes. The big difference between the old trucks and the new trucks that nobody talks about is the width. You know, this is 6'4".
Yeah.
And the new trucks, if you measure the bed on the back,
right,
it's 4 to 6 inches skinnier in the tail than the old trucks. So
yeah.
The old bed and the shoulder room width was wider in these. They started rounding them more over time.
A lot of, you know, new full-size trucks, you know, they're getting bigger and bigger, and the 2020 GM trucks, the heavy-duty ones, they're growing.
Bigger.
They're growing again. You know, they're getting wider and longer and just taller.
The hoods are getting taller.
Yeah.
And
But
wider.
the funny thing, you know how the new GMs, they're talking about how wide their walls are?
Right, yeah.
But this feels really good too.
It's wide. I mean,
right?
we put a tape measure on it. I mean, it rivals any pickup for that era. It was wide.
As far as volume of
I've
the
even
bed.
put 2 1,500-pound round bales. And that's kind of why I put these on here, even though the metal's a whole lot thicker than the new trucks.
Yeah.
But I put these on here so I could put 2 round bales in here and not push the bed.
I see.
Yeah, it gives it more strength than what it had already.
And you can tie stuff down.
And
as
I can
well.
tie a lot more things down. And I've spent, well, talk about everything it's got, you know, of course, rebuilt. It's got new turbocharger, new air conditioner, new alternator, new 4-inch exhaust with, I put 2 mufflers on it.
Okay.
They're 2 flow-through mufflers.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wanted to try and keep it as quiet as possible.
Yeah.
But I built all the muffler system, welded it all together myself.
Okay.
I put South Bend clutch. I put, of course, my pump. My pump, having it rebuilt because they put a different cam in it. So I mean, it's really built for power. That was, you know, $2,500. But it's worth every penny of it. So it all adds up to about $24,000 is what I have in this truck right now.
But it's kind of a new truck. I mean, if you think about it, because all the components have been touched, rebuilt, reworked. You can get 20 years out of this.
And can be worked on easily.
Yeah.
I don't have to take it to a mechanic to work on it.
And you said this is your 3rd truck
My 3rd truck.
over your entire life?
My first one was a 1972 GMC.
Okay.
With a 250 straight 6 and a 4-speed.
Okay.
I drove that 300,000 miles. And then I bought new a 92 Chevy with a 454 and a 5-speed. That's when the NV 4500 first came out.
Okay.
And I still have it, still have both of them.
Okay.
And it's got 311,000 miles on it. And so this is only my 3rd daily driver as far as my truck.
And you said you got it, what, 4 years ago?
I got it 4 years ago with the intention of doing a swap. Because they're just a rare enough truck that I knew when I saw it that it was a good deal. That's what I wanted. Because you just don't find crew cab 4-wheel drive.
What was the price?
I paid $4,000.
$4,000?
Yeah.
It was a working truck, right?
Yeah, it ran great. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the 454 other than the fact they got 9-10 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, it was a great truck.
Yeah. But I mean, this is far superior now. I mean, it'll, like I said, you can pass somebody at lightning quick time.
Go back to tfltruck.com for more news, views, and real-world cool truck reviews.